Hello and welcome to Porsche Cup C6 Bank Mastercard. We are at the Termas do Rio Honda circuit in Argentina, 4,805 meters, ready for the first race of the fourth round of the 2022 championship, starting with Carrera Cup and right after with Sprint Challenge. 31 degrees centigrades, the track winds of 11 kilometers per hour. Earlier this afternoon, Werner Neubauer got pole position for Carrera Cup, followed by Enzo Elias and Pedro Aguiar. Current championship leader Marcel Miller will start in fourth. In Sprint Challenge, Raijan Mascarello set the best time and will start in the front row alongside Nelson Marcondes. Marcelo Tomassoni and Miguel Mariotti will be right behind them. You are going to watch both races with me, Sergio Lago, and with Carlos Costa. Hello, Carlos.
Hello, Sergio. Very big pleasure to be here with you to broadcast one more round of the Porsche Cup Brazil series. So 2 races today after the qualifying sessions, Carrera Cup race, and obviously right after the Sprint Challenge race. So interesting expectation for this round, of course, and a special one considering the fact that it is the only event that happens outside Brazil. So Termas de Rio Honda circuit, that is obviously the venue of the Argentine Grand Prix of MotoGP. So a very special circuit and one of the most important of South America as a whole. And of course, the characteristic of the circuit is always interesting to highlight because it has a wide layout, let's put it that way, that allows a lot of overtaking maneuvers. So the drivers can adopt different lines. And obviously it theoretically is good for overtaking and that kind of stuff, apart from the fact that the drivers can benefit from that as well in order to defend themselves. But very good expectation for this round. We have one race today, then race 2 today for both Carrera and Sprint Challenge championships. And apart from that, Sunday, we will have the first round of the Endurance Championship of Porsche Carrera Cup. But we have to highlight the fact that Werner Neubauer, for example, that is the pole position for the Carrera Cup race today, has already won here in Termas de Rio Honda. So he has a lot of experience in this track and obviously is one of the favorites considering that he starts from P1 ahead of Enzo Elias. Enzo Elias currently the fastest of the weekend so far, but his fastest lap time was set on free practice. So what counts is the qualifying one. Marcel Miller, the championship leader, is in a very good situation there with the P4 because his main title rivals are behind. So we can expect a lot of good things in this very special track, and that is located in the province of Santiago del Estero, the northern region of Argentina. Sergio?
Yeah, Enzo Elias, you mentioned him. He was the fastest so far, although not in the qualifying. That's what counts, right? But Enzo Elias is currently 5th in the championship, Carlos, but it's the only driver so far who won more than one race. All other drivers won only one race. So in 6 races so far, Enzo Elias won 2 races. So we really got to pay attention to him, even though he just sits 5th in the championship. After qualifying early this afternoon, Carlos, there was a complaining from a protest from Marcelo Ram, Porsche number 116, against Alceu Feldman, 01. And then the officials decided that Marcelo Ram was correct, and they took away the best time in Q1
verdadeiro espetáculo que a gente vai poder acompanhar.
Primeiro, from Alceu Feldman. So Alceu Feldman moved from 12th to 14th. So he will start 14th in the race. He currently sits 3rd in the championship, 14 points behind Marcel Miller.
Yeah, so far the day hasn't been good in any way for Alceu Feldman. As you said, the 3rd in the standings. He didn't advance into Q2, actually, so he lost his best lap time of the whole qualifying session, and then he's demoted to that starting position. So the situation for him is not good at all. He has to try and get a recovery race today in order to get a good starting position for tomorrow's race. And of course, thinking about the championship, but Marcel Miller is way ahead of him in terms of grid position, and obviously with 180 points and 8 points actually for Marcel Miller, and also with 94, the gap tends to be a little bit bigger after this Termas round. Christian Hahn, also the second in the championship standings, doesn't have such a good starting position because he didn't manage to have an interesting qualifying session compared to Marcel Miller. He will start P8. So it will be interesting to see how these drivers that are fighting against Marcel for the title will perform. Apart from them, Enzo Elias is P5 in the championship, so still has chances. And Miguel Palou, the 7-time champion of the series, that is currently 4th in the championship standings with 84 points. Sergio?
Yes, we are waiting. We see there all the cars are already on the grid waiting for the authorization to start. This is the first race of this long week, we could say, of racing. We are having this race on Thursday, then we'll have one more race for the sprint championship this Friday, and then on Sunday we'll have the first round of the Porsche Brasil Endurance Championship. So it will be very important when all these drivers that we'll see here today and tomorrow, Friday, they will have other drivers alongside them, some of the best drivers in Brazil. So it will be a show really that you cannot miss. So this will be a very interesting race, very interesting circuit, as you pointed, Carlos. The longest straight, which is the back straight, it has a little bit over a kilometer. It's 1,070 meters, and cars there at the end of that straight get to 260 kilometers per hour, and it's a hard braking zone where they go to around 70 kilometers per hour. So we should expect, I hope, Carlos, lots of action over there.
Yeah, definitely. And we are talking about very powerful cars. These cars can reach 565 horsepower. So the expectation for that specific spot the track is very interesting because, as you said, the back straight is quite long, and it is indeed an overtaking point there for the guys, both from Carrera Championship and also from Sprint Challenge Championship, which actually has a very interesting starting grid for the race that we will watch right after this Carrera Cup race. So it will be interesting to see. And apart from that, the fact that in terms of weather conditions, I would say that we have perfect conditions. It isn't that hot, but also not cold. So far, no signs of rain. So theoretically, they have the perfect conditions for racing and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and it's a very nice, very safe circuit. So it definitely will be a nice race. We shall remember Werner Neugebauer will start first. It's a great opportunity for him. He's not doing that well so far in the championship. He always is a challenger for the championship. But this year, after the first 3 rounds, 6 races total, he just sits 11th in the standings. So it will be a great opportunity for him. And starting alongside him will be Enzo Elias. Enzo Elias, who, as I mentioned, even though he has 2 victories, just 5th in the championship. And he's a very young driver also, Carlos. And that's a driver we always have to pay attention to, because if he's not the youngest, he's one of the youngest drivers in the grid of Carrera Cup.
Yeah, definitely. If I'm not wrong, he's 20 years old. So compared to the other drivers, especially the front runners there in the Carrera main class, he's way younger. So it's an extra challenge for him, but we all know how fast he is. And of course, the fact that he has more than 1 victory to his name in this season, that shows it. But consistency in terms of a season is very important. So that's why we have the guys such as Marcel Miller, for example, ahead of him in terms of championship standings. But Enzo Elias isn't that far. He's 28 points behind Marcel Miller, currently P5 in the championship standings. And this first race, it awards actually 22 points for the race winner. So considering that Enzo wins and Marcel Miller does not finish the race, then the gap will be quite closer. So a lot of ground to come in terms of championship. We are reaching the midway of the season with this Termas Rio Hondo round. Then 2 more rounds, so 6 rounds, overall. And Enzo Elias still has chances, even though he has to be a little bit more consistent.
There is Silvio De Barros, who will start in the 12th position. Drivers are preparing to go into their cars. We're still waiting. You see many of them are preparing. They already, most of them put their helmets. Like 5 minutes ago when we started the transmission, they were without their helmets. And you see to the right side of your video, you see number 73 of Enzo Elias. To the left side, you see number 8 of Werner Neugebauer. So in the second row, we'll have Pedro Aguiar, who is also a very fast car driver. He's really a driver we gotta pay attention. Currently, he's not that well as well in the championship. Actually, he's in 6th. It's not that he's bad, but he has 71 points. He's 9 points behind Enzo Elias. And then we have Marcel Miller. Miguel Paludo is in the 3rd row with the car number 7. And at his side will be Lucas Salles. Very interesting, the presence of Lucas Salles there, Carlos, because he's the fastest guy, driver among the sport class drivers. So he got a really, really nice position there to start showing. I'm sure next year, most probably, he will be racing among the top drivers in the Porsche Cup Brazil.
Yeah, I agree. It's very likely. So let's see if Lucas Salles will be a driver of the Carrera main class in 2023. And it's always good to explain. We have the Carrera Cup Championship and the Sprint Challenge Championship that will race right after. So in the Carrera Cup Championship, we have the Carrera main class, the sport class, that is the intermediate class, let's put it that way. And Lucas Salles is from the sport class. And apart from that, the rookie class, that is the lower class in terms of ranking of drivers, the level of drivers, and also the level of their experience. So theoretically, the guys from the Carrera main class would have an advantage in terms of pace and experience as well. And in the Sprint Challenge Championship, it is quite the same. The Sprint Challenge main class, the sport class, and the trophy class, as well as we see the sky from Termas there. And it's close to the starting time, Sergio.
Yeah, we'll have 25 cars overall in this Carrera Cup race. 9 will be for the main class and 7 sport class and 9 in the rookie class. There you see the detail of Miguel Paludo putting his gloves. Miguel Paludo, who competed this year in NASCAR Xfinity Series. He competed in 3 races. He had a good performance up to
one of them quite recent, Sergio.
Quite recent, exactly. It was in the Indianapolis, in the road course, Indianapolis road course. It was on the 30th of July 30th, and he got hit by Sage Karan. So he was doing well. He even got to the top 10, but he was hit during one of the restarts by Sage Karan, and that ended up being the end of a chance of any good result for Miguel Paludo.
Yeah, Miguel Paludo is always one guy to watch because, as we said, he is a 7-time champion of the series. And apart from that, as you said right now, his experience in motorsport as a whole is very, very big. Racing in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, apart from that, other categories throughout the whole world in the recent years. So he's definitely one guy to watch. And we were talking about the championship hopes of Enzo Elias. Miguel Paludo is 4 points ahead of Enzo Elias, and he has had a decent qualifying session, I would say, starting from P5, but with his driving capabilities, I would say that he is one guy to watch, and we cannot count him out of these victory chances.
Drivers already started their warm-up lap. You see the pace car ahead of them, Werner Neugebauer. Then we have Enzo Elias, and we see all the grid. It's really nice to have 25 cars in the Carrera Cup in Argentina. We see there Neugbauer and Enzo Elias, then Pedro Aguiar and Marcel Miller in the second row. Third row, Miguel Paludo and Lucas Salles. Behind them, we will see Renan Pizzi and then Christian Hahn. Christian Hahn is doing very well this year as well. Lineu Pires and Nelson Monteiro in the fifth row. Then we'll have Francisco Horta and Silvio de Barros. Franco Giafone and Maso Feldman. Maso Feldman, who lives in Curitiba in the south part of Brazil. He's from Santa Catarina, originally another state in the south of Brazil. Marcelo Hahn and Rodrigo Melo. Rodrigo Melo will be with Nelson Piquet Jr. on Sunday. Roman Zinkiewicz and Giorgio Frangoulis side by side. These guys are always together on the track. It's impressive. Leo Sanchez and Bruno Campos in the 10th row. And then behind them we'll have Edu Menossi and João Barbosa. On the row we have Paulo Souza and Gustavo Farah. And finally, starting at last, we have Edu Guedes. Edu Guedes with his nice smile there. It's a rookie. He's ready for the race as well. Very, very nice person, Edu Guedes. So let's see what he can do during this race, Carlos.
Yeah, exactly. Duguet is a TV presenter here in Brazil, so he's a part-time driver, let's put it that way, and a very sympathetic one. But starting from the back of the grid, the challenge will be quite interesting for him. Let's see if he's able to climb the back there, even though his competitors are very, very competitive as well. But with the pace car there, I think in moments we will have the start of the race. Sergio?
Yes, everything is ready to start this race. It's the first race of the fourth round of Carrera Cup. Safety car is already going to the pits. So we have a Werner Neugbauer here on your left side. Then at his side is Elias. Green, green, green. We will start the race. Side by side, Werner Neugbauer and Enzo Elias. We have 4, 5 side by side on the first turn. It's impressive. Miguel Paludo gets hit, goes sideways. Another car involved and gets behind Miguel Paludo. Silvio de Barros as well. Werner Neugbauer keeps the lead. Enzo Elias tries to stay in second, but he's being challenged. Aguiar is actually in third. Pedro Aguiar is in third. Enzo Elias keeps the second position. What a start, Carlos, with Werner Neugbauer keeping the first position, but lots of confusion there when we had 4, 3, 4, 5 cars side by side. And look at that, Alceu Feldman also is going to be out of the track. And what a view, Carlos Costa. We see there Silvio de Barros, we see Miguel Paludo, and I believe it's Franco Giafone as well. This is the inside camera from Miguel Paludo. What a bad start for these three drivers.
Yeah, and that's a shame for Miguel Paludo. We were talking about his championship hopes, but of course with this DNF, the situation gets tricky for him. If I'm not wrong, you are right. Miguel Paludo, Franco Giafone, and Silvio de Barros involved there. I saw the car number 1 also with a little bit of a wreck there. That is the car from Marcel Feldman, as you said. And what a start, as you said, because, and we were talking about that, Sergio, we have a very wide track, so a lot of cars side by side, and of course in the apex of the first corner, that is a dangerous situation, as we see in the replay there.
Yeah, there was no space there. Miguel Paludo got stuck between Renan Pizzi. Renan Pizzi is the driver to the right there that stayed behind. I have to check because Renan Pizzi might have a DNF as well, unless he was able to. I don't know if you were able to go back to the track. And here we have the camera from behind at the moment of the start, and we see everybody going for the gold, Carlos. But there is only enough space for just 2, 3 cars, and we had 4 cars there. So it's a pity for these drivers, but soon we'll have the start of the race. Let's go with Alceu Feldman.
Yeah, through the outside line there, but with a lot of guys beside him, so it was very difficult to put the car in the apex.
So not a good start for him. There is Miguel Paludo, I believe it's Silvio de Barros at his side. They're at least, Carlos, they are close to the pits. They can walk back to the pits. So there they have to tow Paludo's car as well as Silvio de Barros. They already took the other car from Franco Giaffoni. And we are under safety car, of course. Race is 25 minutes plus 1 lap. And Werner Neugebauer is the leader, followed by Enzo Elias. Marcel Miller end up getting the 3rd position from Pedro Aguiar, with Lucas Salles in 5th. And that's the car for Alceu Feldman.
Yeah, Alceu Feldman retiring there. They will focus on tomorrow's race. And throughout the whole chaos, we didn't talk that much about the charge that Enzo Elias put there on Werner Neugebauer's lead. And Werner was very competent there to stay ahead, because the pressure was quite high, and Pedro Aguiar was arriving as well in the first moment, especially after the main straight. So very good start from Werner Neugebauer, also from Enzo Elias. And in terms of safety, the safety car indeed had to be deployed, because we had 3 cars actually in the runoff area after the main straight. So obviously for safety reasons, we need the safety car.
Yeah, and I mentioned Renan Pizzi, Carlos, who was in the inside of Miguel Paludo. He was able apparently to go back to the track. He sits currently 21st. Renan Pizzi, who started racing 7th, right behind Paludo. He's currently 21st. He's the last between the cars that are in the racetrack. So at least for him, he was able apparently to go back to the race. And who knows, he might recuperate some position when the race resumes.
Yeah, let's see how many laps with the safety car. I believe that the rescue there isn't that difficult, because the runoff area is very large. So the rescue team has a lot of space to operate. I believe 1 more lap and maybe 2. But the restart will be very interesting as well, because if Enzo Elias attacks like he did after the start of the race, then Werner Neugebauer will have to be very, very smart there in order to defend his lead.
Yes, I believe, let's hope we might restart in the next lap, as Porsche is usually very fast to take the cars away, although we still see Silvio de Barros' car is still there. And,
seems that the car
are very efficient taking the cars out.
Yeah, but it seems his car is a little bit stuck on the gravel there. Let's see if they're able to rescue the car, but the situation with Silvio's car seems a little bit more tricky compared to Franco Giaffoni's and Miguel Paludo's car.
Yeah, right now the situation looks good to Werner Neugebauer. Then Enzo Elias. For Marcel Miller, it couldn't be better. He's 3rd right now. He leads the championship. Pedro Aguiar is 4th. Lucas Salles is 5th. While we see again here, look at Renan Pizzi, is the car way to the left there, side by side with Paludo. And when Paludo turns, is Lucas Salles. So he's right behind Lucas Salles and Renan Pizzi. He has nowhere to go. And after he spins, it happens that he touches Franco Giaffoni's number 3, and then Silvio de Barros' car number 5. Franco Giaffoni had started the race in 13th, and Silvio de Barros in 12th. So they both got caught there, I would say, Carlos, in a confusion that started ahead of them.
Yeah, I would say that it was a racing incident, but that's something to watch also in the race that we'll have right after the Sprint Challenge Championship races, because both today and tomorrow, because theoretically the drivers from the Sprint Challenge Championship aren't that experienced. So it's a tricky turn 1 there, because you have a very wide main straight, and of course everyone will try and charge right straight away. So it's a difficult situation there, especially for the guys that are in the outside line after the main straight, turning to the apex of the turn 1, especially considering that is a right-hander, so a tricky situation there. Let's see in the race of the Sprint Challenge Championship as well, Sergio.
Yeah, it's very, very, very tight turn. So then we have, I would say, Lineu Pires had a good start. He currently sits 7th. He started in 9th, so he got two positions. Christian Hahn started in 8th. He's currently 6th. So, and then we have Francisco Horta in 9th and Léo Sanches in 10th. Rodrigo Melo is right there in 13th. So we had 3 cars of the main Carrera Cup class involved: Renan Pizzi, Alceu Feldman, and Miguel Paludo. Renan Pizzi only stays in the race, but he's dead last among the drivers that are currently on the track. So it's really a problem for them. And I'm sure Carlos Enzo Elias is plotting right now what he's going to do to try to get the first position from Werner Neugebauer.
Yeah, it's an interesting situation because Werner has to stay ahead. Of course, that's what he wants, especially after starting from pole position. Enzo Elias is still fighting for the championship. And right after them, we have Marcel Miller, the championship leader, that can be a little bit more conservative, let's put it that way, and maybe wait for something to happen between Werner Neugebauer and Enzo Elias. But Pedro Aguiar is quite close, and he lost a spot there for Marcel Miller. So I believe Marcel will be under attack in the restart as well.
The safety car is already gone, so we should restart the race soon. Werner Neugebauer already hitting the throttle and restart of the race. Werner Neugebauer, Enzo Elias, Marcel Miller, then Pedro Aguiar comes to the right. Pedro Aguiar trying on the outside, and Marcel Miller trying to get second position, goes wide. Pedro Aguiar, he stays in 4th. Marcel Miller is 3rd, but Pedro Aguiar is being challenged by Lucas Salles. Pedro Aguiar keeps the position, but Lucas Salles is right behind him. Great start by Werner Neugebauer. Oh, problems for Leonardo Sanches. Leo Sanches, he stopped at the track. Let's hope he can come back, Carlos.
Yeah, I didn't see if he was touched there, but I saw his spinning after the restart of the race. It was a clean restart compared to what we had on the start, but Leo Sanches spun there. Let's see if he's able to rejoin the race. So far, not so good for him. And a drive-through penalty for the car, number 26, for jump starting.
Christian Hahn.
Yeah.
So Christian Hahn will be penalized for jump starting. And we see already Christian Hahn actually got the position. There you see the blue car, Blau, from Christian Hahn. He's ahead of Lucas Salles. He got the position from Lucas Salles, but as you mentioned, he'll have to pay the penalty, so he will lose all his positions. And this is really, really bad for him, Carlos, because he's 2nd in the championship. So that would be a big problem for him. And so far, everything is going really good for Marcel Miller, who leads the championship. Behind there, we saw Christian Hahn going to the pit to pay the drive-through. So now Lucas Salles again is with the track.
Yeah, it's a true disaster there for Christian Hahn. As you said, 2nd in the championship standings, only 4 points behind Marcel Miller. But with this drive-through penalty, his whole weekend actually is a little bit compromised, because theoretically he will lose. Actually, that's quite certain that he will lose a lot of spots there. You will try and get a recovery race today in order to have a good starting position tomorrow. But the situation in terms of championship standings, especially comparing to Marcel Miller, is not good at all for Christian Hahn, who didn't have such a good qualifying session. He started P8 only.
There you see Enzo Elias, he's right behind Werner Neugebauer. Keeps the pressure, Enzo Elias over Neugebauer. Enzo Elias has already 2 victories this season, so he's really, really doing well. Werner Neugebauer didn't win so far, so he's looking for his first win. If he wins, he'll be the 6th winner in 7 races. So that's incredible. It shows how competitive the category is. But Enzo Elias doesn't want that to happen. He's right behind and he keeps the pressure. We have 12 minutes and a half to go, which is pretty much half of the race plus 1 lap. So Enzo Elias is really looking strong at this point, Carlos.
Yeah, so far so good for him. Let's see if he's able to find a racing line there in order to attack and overtake Werner Neugebauer. The pressure is quite big. We see that the gap between them is not that big, actually 4/10 of a second, if I'm not wrong. And of course, for Marcel Miller, that's quite good, especially considering that he's the championship leader. So theoretically, if something happens in between Enzo Elias and Werner Neugebauer, that's pretty good for Marcel Miller, obviously, but Werner is a very good driver also in terms of defending his position, and that's what we saw from him in the start of the race. So let's wait and see. A little bit more than 13 minutes to go.
There you see a battle of the cars behind. You see, we saw there Renan Pizzi advancing. Renan Pizzi is already 16th on the board, so he's really advancing. See Renan Pizzi to the left of your screen, going to get one more position. He is going after João Barbosa, and Renan Pizzi gets the position ahead of João Barbosa. Then ahead of them we have Roman Zinkiewicz and Paulo Souza. Then now we have the first Werner Neugebauer and then Enzo Elias. Werner Neugebauer looks a little bit more at ease now, Carlos. He got a little bit more advantage over Enzo Elias, although he can't commit any mistake at this point.
Yeah, the strategy for Enzo is exactly that. Put pressure psychologically, let's put it that way, on Werner, so that he cannot make any mistake. But it seems that so far, at least, Neugebauer is managing his advantage there. In 1 or 2 laps, we saw a heavy attack, let's put it that way, from Enzo, but from lap to lap, Werner can open a little bit of a gap. But of course, Enzo is always there, putting pressure on the race leader so far. So I can expect this battle to continue a little bit more close to the end of the race. Sergio.
Yes, Werner Neugebauer is starting on the back straight, which is the fastest straight. At the end, he'll get 260 kilometers per hour around that. And look at Pedro Aguiar. Pedro Aguiar is right behind Marcel Miller. Marcel Miller defends himself, but Pedro Aguiar is really looking really strong, trying to overtake championship leader Marcel Miller and to get the 3rd position. Let's see if he's able to.
Yeah, Pedro Aguiar is 6th in the championship standings with 71 points. So he's a championship contender, even though he has to count on DNFs from Marcel Miller, Christian Hahn, and so on. But his pace seems to be a little bit better than what we see from Marcel Miller. That incident on the first corner of the race will be investigated after the race, but I don't know how much Marcel Miller, Sergio, is managing that gap, even though, of course, that the last attack there from Pedro Aguiar was quite heavy.
Werner Neugebauer keeps the Elias, Marcel Miller and Pedro Aguiar. A little bit behind them, we see the green and orange car of Lucas Salles, and then a little bit behind we have Marcelo Hamlin, Neo Pires. Number 77 is Francisco Horta, who is already receiving the pressure from Nelson Monteiro. Nelson Monteiro in the number 87. He's really strong behind Francisco Horta. Let's see if he's able to get that position. And then we have Rodrigo Melo. Rodrigo Melo, who is from the Carrera Cup, is right behind them, trying to improve his position. He's currently 10th, Rodrigo Melo. It's a nice improvement, Carlos. He started racing 16th, and he already got 6 positions, Rodrigo Melo. Let's see if he's able to get more positions. There you see, number 29, Rodrigo Melo.
Yeah, Melo is now racing a little bit closer to his performance standards, let's put it that way, because he didn't have a good qualifying session. It was quite a poor qualifying for him. We all know how intelligent he is as a driver, and so far capitalizing on the fact that he has a little bit more of experience than his competitors ahead of him, drivers from lower classes, let's put it that way, especially the guys from the rookie class, and he's trying to climb the back there.
And he already got one position. Rodrigo Melo is ninth. He got ahead of Nelson Monteiro. Now he's going after Francisco Horta. Francisco Horta in his Porsche, this yellowish Porsche, more yellow than any other color. And Nelson Monteiro tries to get back the position from Rodrigo Melo. Look on the outside, trying to get the position. We said before, you have many lines to follow in this circuit. Is very, very wide. It gives lots of opportunities for the drivers.
Yeah, now with different trains of cars battling between themselves, let's put it that way, the racing lines are even more open in a way as well, because of course in the beginning of the race we had that the whole pack actually together ahead of the first corner, the turn one, the right-hander there in which we had the accident, and now we have the train, let's put it that way, if we can call train of cars between Neugbauer and Enzo Elias, then the battle between Marcel Miller and Pedro Aguiar, and then the guys that come from behind trying to climb the pack, such as Rodrigo Melo, for example.
It's a good moment now for Werner Neugbauer. He opens a little bit under a second from Enzo Elias, and a little bit more, like 2 seconds behind Enzo Elias is Marcel Miller. Look at Pedro Aguiar. Pedro Aguiar again on the attack, trying to get the position, goes to one side to the other. Let's see if he's able to overtake Marcel Miller. Marcel Miller is doing his best. Of course, he wants to improve his lead in the championship, and then having a great race, I would say. Lucas Salles in the 5th position. And behind them, we have Marcelo Hahn and Lineu Pires. Lineu Pires is putting pressure on Marcelo Hahn for the 6th position. That's the battle we see right now coming into the straight here at the pits. This turn to the right is very, very nice, Carlos. Then we have the turn to the left, and then another one to the right. It's the 3rd turn. It's 14 turns total, and the drivers go to the main straight. Go to the back straight. Not the main. I mean the longest straight. Ooh. Look at Pedro Aguiar going way, way wide. He tried everything, and now he loses ground to Marcel Miller. He went very, very wide. I mean, wild and wide. He lost lots of time, Carlos.
Yeah, and it was nice to see, because as we said, the fact that we have a wide track in this Termas de Rio Hondo circuit, it also allows different, let's put it that way, defensive approach, and we saw Marcel Miller using the whole track there in order to defend himself from Pedro Aguiar's attack, and now Pedro maybe a little bit angry with the fact that he had a better pace, but he wasn't able to overtake. Then he went a little bit wide, a little bit of overdriving there from Pedro Aguiar. That's tricky, and that's something that Enzo Elias didn't do so far. Any mistakes from Enzo Elias will be costly, but he's trying to remain close to Werner Neugbauer, even though the race leader has opened a little bit of a gap there, close to 1 second. Yes, a little bit more.
Yeah, you saw there the graphic with the main leaders. Werner Neugbauer is the overall leader, the Carrera Cup class leader. Then Lucas Salles leads this is Lucas Salles, number 70. He leads the sports class. And then coming in 7th position, Lineu Pires, a great effort by him as well. He leads the rookie class. Rodrigo Melo is already 8th. He overtook Francisco Horta. Nelson Monteiro actually overtook Francisco Horta as well. Nelson Monteiro currently is 9th. And Rodrigo Melo, maybe, only maybe, Carlos, he might have a chance to get to Lineu Pires and get the 7th position. Remember, it's really important, these positions, Carlos, because there is an inversion of the grid between the 5th and the 8th places of the first race for the second race. So it's important for a driver to position himself alongside these positions.
Yeah, that's very important. And apart from that, we can see how good Rodrigo Melo's recovery race is because, if I'm not wrong, he's the biggest climber, let's put it that way. If I'm not wrong, he started P16. Let me check. Yeah, and already P8. So he gained a lot of ground there, actually, Sergio.
Yeah, and he's right there. That's the third car here that we see. He's right behind Lineu Pires and Marcelo Han. Lineu Pires and Marcelo Han are having a great battle. Actually, Lineu Pires was able to overtake Marcelo Han. This is the Lineu Pires car, then Marcelo Han right behind him. And Rodrigo Melo is coming. We have 2 minutes to go, less than 2 minutes to go, plus 1 lap. But depending on when the drivers cross the line, we might have still 3 laps. So it's a long way there. And for sure, Rodrigo Melo will have a chance, I believe, Carlos.
Yeah, it seems so. His pace is a little bit better there. Of course, he's a Carrera class driver, so theoretically, with a little bit more of experience and a bigger level also because he's competing against guys such as Bauer, Enzo Elias, Marcel Miller, and even Miguel Paludo, who has already retired. But let's wait and see. We have 1 minute plus 1 lap, or yeah, that's it. But of course, we have to see when they cross the line for the last time before the clock goes to 0. So we are getting close to that decisive moment of the race, Sergio.
Werner Neugebauer, great effort for him. He started pole position, was perfect at the start. Behind him, we have Enzo Elias. Enzo Elias trying to improve his situation in the championship. He started second, so first and second in the start of the race are right there. But then Marcel Miller, who started the race in 4th, is 3rd, and Pedro Aguiar, who started the race in 3rd, is 4th at this point. And then we have Lucas Salles in 5th. Lucas Salles will start the race in the 6th position. Werner Neugebauer is going to cross the line, so we will have 2 laps. We will have 2 laps from now, so it will be very interesting. A very good chance for Rodrigo Melo, who is getting really close to Marcelo Han and Lineu Pires. There you see 2 laps to go. Werner Neugebauer, and second place is Enzo Elias. At this point, Carlos, I would say it to be really hard for Enzo Elias to get first position from Werner Neugebauer, unless Neugebauer has some kind of problem.
Yeah, definitely. Very intelligent race so far from Werner Neugebauer. He was able to defend his lead the start of the race. Then Enzo Elias tried to attack, but Werner managed to control the distance between himself and Enzo. And so far, no mistakes from the race leader, even though Enzo Elias has raced very well as well. But with no mistakes from Werner, then the victory is his. Of course, he can have an issue with the car, but it doesn't seem the case, especially because these Porsche cars are very reliable. And I was thinking here, while you talked, Sergio, he went a little bit too fast because he crossed the line before the clock got 0. So 2 laps until the end of the race.
Yeah, he'll have to wait that. But I believe, Carlos, if he had waited a little bit, for sure he would be overtaken by Enzo Elias. He cannot give any chance to car number 73.
No, not at all, especially considering Elias' pace. He's trying to close the gap, actually, even in these final stages of this race.
And now we go for the last lap in Termas de Rio Hondo. This is the first race of 2 set for this week. It's the 4th round of the Porsche Carrera Cup Brazil, and Werner Neugebauer is about to become the 5th different winner in 7 races. So it's incredible. Actually, 6 different winners in 7 races so far. So it shows how competitive Porsche Carrera Cup is in Brazil.
Yeah, and Werner returning, let's put it that way, to his driving standards. We all know how fast and accomplished driver he is. Now, with the win, let's see if he crosses the checkered flag ahead of Enzo Elias.
Exact. So wins the race Werner Neugebauer. Enzo Elias is second place. Great work by Werner Neugebauer. And it's a great work. Marcel Miller finishes third. Pedro Aguiar is fourth. Lucas Salles fifth. Lineu Pires. And Rodrigo Melo was not able to get to Lineu Pires. Is going to finish in seventh. Actually, he was able to pass Marcelo Ram. He passed Marcelo Ram and he got seventh position. He was eighth. So great race by Rodrigo Melo, who started in 16th and finished in 7th. Great race also for Renan Pizzi, Carlos, who after that accident in the beginning of the race went to dead last among the drivers who stayed on track, and he ended up finishing in the 10th position. So great work by Renan Pizzi.
Yeah, very good race. And actually Enzo Elias, after the checkered flag, he was going so fast that I thought the race didn't end, but Werner won, of course, ahead of Enzo. And there we see Marcel Miller ahead of Pedro Aguiar. We have to highlight Marcel's job as well, because he got that spot after the start of this first race out of 2 for this week round of Termas de Rio Hondo, and managed to defend his spot there against Pedro Aguiar, who was heavy on the charger. So very good race. And then we have the Sprint Challenge Championship race as well right after.
Yeah, so Werner Neugebauer, the great winner, Enzo Elias, Marcel Miller, Pedro Aguiar, and Lucas Salles. This is Lucas Salles. Lucas Salles, actually it was Neugebauer. Lucas Salles is on the left here. Lucas Salles was the winner for the 4th class, and Lineu Pires won the rookie class. And here is Werner Neugebauer commemorating. He's all happy with all good reasons. Did a perfect race, a perfect weekend for him, and for sure that will help him a lot in the championship. Carlos, he will be able to get many positions. He started this race in 11th, but he will have now 22 more points, which might put him like in 8th position of the championship. So it was really good. 8 for 9. So he got some positions, and he's talking to Enzo Elias right now. Enzo Elias in the yellow overall. You see that the two are talking for sure about their battle, Carlos.
Yeah, definitely. No doubt about that. Talking about the racing lines, the moments they shared in this first race, especially I would say the race start, in which Enzo Elias got close to overtaking Werner Neugebauer, but very interesting battle between the two of them, and also between Marcel Miller and Pedro Aguiar. The podium will be very interesting to see. We have the top 5, of course, celebrating in this series, and of course in terms of championship, all these guys, they have to think actually round by round, even though Marcel is in such a good position, such a good situation actually, in which he can be a little bit more conservative and thinking about bagging the points throughout the end of the whole season, until the end of the season actually, with the finale in Brazil.
Yeah, we'll have now after this the Sprint Challenge race with Raijan Mascarello starting in the pole position alongside Nelson Marcondes. Beautiful day in Termas de Rio Hondo. It's a city located like in the north part of Argentina. Lots of people look there. It's good for the high blood pressure, Carlos. You know, the hot springs there. The temperature is around 50 degrees centigrade, and they say it's perfect for high blood pressure.
Yeah, it seems a very dry region there. The whole north of Argentina, is a dry region. And right beside the track, we saw that from some aerial views of the Termas de Rio Hondo circuit. We have the Rio Hondo, which is a a river right outside the track. Also, the landscape of the circuit is quite interesting to see, Sergio.
Once again, commemorating Werner Neugebauer. We see Enzo Elias there. We see the top drivers talking, waiting for the podium. It was a very exciting race, Carlos. It's a pity the accident right at the beginning that took away 3 of the drivers. But anyway, even so, after that, we had a great race. And we'll have really to pay attention, Carlos, in the first turn, as you really well pointed during the first race. I'm sure the drivers from Sprint Challenge took note of what happened there, and they will be more careful. I believe and I hope, Carlos.
Yeah, I also hope so. And the guys that will start from the inner line, let's put it that way, the starting grid, theoretically they have an advantage because we have a right-hander there in the first turn. So if they manage to stay far from the contacts between the other cars and of course try to get a good racing line there in the apex of turn 1, then theoretically they will have a clean start, and the guys that start from the outside, they will have to be extra wary, let's put it that way, because the main straight is too wide, but the corner is quite tight there. So we see that with Alceu Feldman, as you see on the screen, apart from the incident between Franco Giaffoni and Miguel Paludo and Silvio de Barros as well.
Yeah, and must have been also a very frustrating race for Pedro Aguiar, who started third in the grid but lost the position to Marcel Miller right at the beginning. And then he put all the pressure on Marcel Miller but was not able to overtake Marcel Miller. So he had to stay in fourth position, and he even went wide. We see there Pedro Aguiar, number 20, and it was incredible race by him as well, Carlos. But now he'll have to conform to fourth position and wait for the race this Friday, when he will start ahead of Marcel Miller again, while we see the podium there.
Yeah,
that's Marcel Miller. Go ahead.
And talking about Pedro Aguiar, if we look at the result of the race, of course, it wasn't a good race for him. But as you said, the battle between himself and Marcel Miller was very intense. So at least he had a lot of fun, I believe.
These are the 5 top drivers for the first Carrera Cup in Termas de Rio Hondo, Argentina. This is Porsche Cup C6 Bank MasterCard 2022. Porsche Cup Brazil competing in Argentinian soil. It's very interesting race. There will be 5 days of racing. Actually, it started on Wednesday with free practice, then now on Thursday with free practice, qualifying and 2 races for Carrera Cup and Sprint Challenge. Then on Friday we'll have the second race for the 4th round of both Carrera Cup and Sprint Challenge on Friday. On Saturday we have free practice, and on Sunday we have qualifying and the endurance race in Termas de Rio Hondo.
Yeah, the whole weekend event is very interesting, as we had been highlighting in the broadcast of the qualifying sessions earlier today, especially considering the endurance race this Sunday with a lot of guest drivers such as Rubens Barrichello, Nelson Piquet Jr., Ricardo Zonta, Ricardo Mauricio, some of the main drivers of the Brazilian motorsport scene. So it will be interesting to see, and a very nice event as well from the locals from Santiago del Estero and the nearby regions of Argentina as well.
Yeah, and the Endurance Championship this year for Porsche Cup Brazil will have a few different rules. One of them that to be most interesting, that points will be awarded in the middle of the race. As long as drivers are able to do a certain percentage of laps, they will get points in the middle of the race as well as in the end of the race. And one of these points in the middle of the race will be discarded at the end of the championship So it will actually 3 rounds, Carlos, pardon me, it's 3 rounds. So that will be actually 6 opportunities where they will get points, and one of them will be discarded. So it will give a new dimension, as well as the drivers will have pretty much to split their driving during the race. So we want to have, like we had in previous years, when let's say the best driver would drive more laps than the other driver. No, this time it will be pretty much half and half. They have to split the race.
Yeah, as you said, almost 50-50. So it's an extra challenge, especially for the guys that aren't that experienced in motorsport as a whole. So, for example, Rubens Barrichello will race alongside Franco Giaffoni, and Franco Giaffoni will have to race almost as much as Rubens will in terms of kilometers. So it will be nice to see in that new format in terms of awarding points. It's sort of a stage, let's put it that way, in the endurance race. It is also very interesting because it's an extra strategy factor, of course, thinking about the championship as a whole. In 3 rounds, then you have 6 opportunities to bag points, and then you had to discard 1. So that's an extra strategy factor, as we see the podium there from the sport class.
Yes, this is the podium for the... Actually, I believe this is already for the rookie class. No, it's the third podium.
They were fast, so...
I believe it's the rookie, but... And,
yeah, I think
that
so.
That will be Lineu Pires on top of the class. They are number 1. Then second was Nelson Monteiro. Third, Bruno Campos. Fourth, João Barbosa. And fifth, Edu Guedes. Edu Guedes actually had a good race, Carlos, because he started dead last and he ended up finishing in 17th. So there were 25 cars. So a great effort by Edu Guedes, I would say.
Yeah,
he's
definitely.
Not there actually. No, he's there. He's on the right side. He's on the right side of our video.
Yes. He had a clean race, actually. He managed to stay away from the problems, and he was awarded with the podium of the former trophy class, now called rookie class, and the guys from the Porsche Cup were fast with the podiums after the first race, and now the expectation for the Sprint Challenge race is also very, very good.
Our transmission this Friday will start at 1:20 p.m. Brazilian time or local time, same time as in Argentina, as in the Termas de Rio Hondo circuit. Then that will be at 4:20 p.m. GMT or 12 noon 20 minutes in US Eastern time. So be ready to follow us here, because we are going to be bringing this excellent race for Porsche Cup Brazil. And on Sunday, action starts at 9 a.m. local time, Brazilian time as well, or 12 noon GMT or 8 a.m. Eastern US time. And then the race starts at 12:55 p.m. local time, or almost 3:55 p.m. GMT or 11:55 a.m. Eastern time. Now we have the cars for Sprint Challenge. Carlos, that will be very interesting. We see there Raijan Mascarello, who start in pole position, already going for the grid formation.
Yeah, formation lap there, the installation lap. Anyway, and of course, Raijan Mascarello ahead of the pack. He's the second in the championship standing, so good position for him. Of course, thinking the season overall. He's only 1 point actually behind his main title rival, that is Ayman Darvic, the driver from Egypt. Actually didn't have a very good qualifying session because he had a penalty, and because of that penalty he lost his best lap time in Q1, so he wasn't able to advance into Q2. And we'll start from the middle of the pack. Darvic has 83 points and Mascarello 82, so it will be very interesting to see also Darvic's race, because we will have to climb the pack, and thinking of course about the race that we will have tomorrow, this Friday. So it will be very interesting to see his strategy approach, let's put it that way, because he has to be aggressive, but he has to finish the race. And apart from that, climbing the clap and the pack, and Mascarello, he has to take this opportunity, because even if he doesn't win the race, he has to open a gap for Ayman Darvish. So in these two fronts, let's put it that way, it will be a very interesting race to see, apart from the other fights and battles for overtaking and that kind of stuff. So good expectation for this sprint challenge race as well.
Yeah, in the sprint challenge, Carlos, we had 6 different winners in the first 6 races, so also very competitive category going on. And one very interesting thing is that Ayman Darvish, who is the championship leader, he didn't win any race so far. And now, as you mentioned, he's going to start from, not from behind, but he start on the 7th row. So it will be really hard for him to win this race. He might have a chance to win the second race tomorrow, but it's interesting, his situation. He's been very consistent, and that's the key for him to be able to be the leadership, the championship leader at this point of the championship. Even though that because he's been consistent and that he was awarded points in all races, he also suffers more because he'll have to discard 2 results. And so far he has to discard 2 reasonably good results. So that's a problem. Second place, Rajan Mascarello, for example, didn't score any points in the second race in Interlagos. So that's already a race he'll discard and will be no harm for him.
Yeah, but consistency, even with the discard races, is the key to winning a championship, especially in such a short championship, let's put it that way, because you always have to bag points. You don't have time to recover, let's put it that way. And that's why Rajan Mascarello is in such a good situation in terms of championship standings. And when we talked about, for example, Enzo Elias' campaign this year, he has 2 wins in 2022, but he isn't as consistent as Marcel Miller, for example. So we see that consistency is indeed the key to winning a championship, even though, of course, fighting for the win is something that the driver always wants to do. And Rajan Mascarello today has the condition to do so. Let's see if he's able to capitalize on his pole position in order to triumph in Santiago del Estero.
You see there Guilherme Bottura. Bottura has a win so far this year. He actually won the second race in Interlagos. He will start in the 9th position in this race. The cars are already arriving for the grid, so everything is set up for the beginning of the race. It's always an important moment. You see most of the cars are going, so we already did some warm-up with the tires. They still have 1 lap after that when the track is clear. And there you see a great image. You see Ayrton Senna there on the right, and it's the Museu Termas de Rio Honda. It's a very nice museum, Carlos.
Yeah, very nice indeed. And side by side, Juan Manuel Fangio and Ayrton Senna. So an interesting entrance there for the museum. I think that the fire that got to the circuit, actually it was close to the museum. So it's nice to see also how the track organizers and managers, they were able to recover the whole structure of the Termas de Rio Hondo circuit after the fire that we had, I think, last year here in Argentina.
Most cars are already there to position themselves to the race. You have to wait for the authorization to start. Not all of them are there. This is always a very important moment. And they will have the second race tomorrow. It's a great event. Something that I thought it was very interesting as well, Carlos, that usually, for example, next round, will be in Goiânia. Then we'll have in one weekend, we'll have this, it will be the second time the sprint cars will go to Goiânia, the sprint cars. The sprint championship will go to Goiânia. They will have in one weekend the races for the Porsche Cup Sprint Championship, and then in the next weekend they will have the endurance, the second round for the endurance championship. But here at Termas de Rio Hondo, because it's in Argentina, it took lots of logistics for the cars to be taken. They have to clear customs in Brazil. They have to clear customs in Argentina. It's a big logistic situation that requires all the effort of the organization. And because of that, they put everything together from Wednesday to Sunday.
Yeah, and I think it was a nice solution there because, of course, traveling to another country and with all that aspects that you mentioned, Sergio, it's quite tricky to do so. But if you consider the reality of the motorsport fan of this region, then he has a lot to watch in the period of 4 days. So, of course, maybe he isn't able to attend Thursday race, but Friday and then Sunday, especially Sunday with the endurance round, the first round actually of the endurance championship, he will be able to attend. And of course, for the drivers, especially considering the regular drivers that usually will compete in the sprint championship and also in the endurance championship, it's a better solution because in 4 or 5 days they are able to do 2 rounds actually, because we have the round of the sprint and the round of the endurance championship as well. So I think it was a very nice solution and good for the locals as well. I believe that some of the Argentinians fans of motorsport will attend the event as a whole.
Termas do Rio Hondo is like 2,380 kilometers from São Paulo, where these cars are. So from any point of view, it's lots of logistics. It doesn't matter if they go on the road, if they go by plane, it's far away. It requires lots of logistics. And it's more than 200 people. Actually, it's more close to 300 people working for that to happen. That is exactly a beautiful view.
That is the reservatory, Sergio, of the Rio Hondo.
Yeah, it's an artificial reservatory, right? I mean, there is a dam there that holds the river. That's very nice. We see once more the aerial view of the track. That's the straight in front of the pits. And at the end of this track, Carlos, it's also very, very interesting because you have a very tight turn to the right, and then you have a 90-degree, pretty much a 90-degree left turn to the main straight. So it makes it really hard and really challenging for the drivers as well.
Yeah, the traction after that last corner is very important because the main straight isn't that long. So you have to get out of the last corner with a lot of speed in order to try and attack and be able to overtake before turn 1, that is a right-hander, and a very tight right-hander, as we saw in the beginning of the last race. And as we have been talking about for a while already, Sergio, I hope these guys from the Sprint Challenge Championship, they learned after what happened in the first race, because the start of the race will be a very important moment, and we saw there Nelson Piquet Jr. on the grid.
Yeah, we'll see soon what happens there. We are about to start the second race this Thursday afternoon, and we'll have 2 more races on Friday. Pretty much everybody is getting ready to clear the track. Only the drivers are there, and soon we'll have the sign to start the race. So everybody, we see Renata, the reporter, they are leaving the racetrack as well. And it's important to remind all these cars use Michelin tires. So it's only one brand of tire, which is really, really important. And there you are, Carlos. They are almost ready to go. with the exception of 2 or 3 guys there that are still on the track. Now they are leaving. Everything is ready for the 7th race this season for the Sprint Challenge. That's the first race of the 4th round. It marks the beginning of the second half of the season. So it's really, really important for those drivers who are not there yet, who are not in the front of the championship. They will have from this race on, they have 6 races to get back and maybe get a chance to win the championship. Let's check the starting grid for the first race in terms de Rio Hondo for Sprint Challenge. Raijan Mascarello is the pole alongside Nelson Marcondes. Second row, Marcelo Tomassoni and Miguel Mariotti. Then we have Fontanari, Ricardo Fontanari and Daniel Correia. Fourth row, Vina Neves alongside Christian Moore. Behind them, we will see Guilherme Botura and Maso Mauro. Then on the other row, 6th row, Gustavo Zanon and Josimar Júnior. Look at him, Urubatan Júnior and Neyman Darwich. Then Marco Biri and Ramon Alcaraz, 15th and 16th. Behind them, Sedak Leite and Sang Ho Kim, the South Korean driver, and there Gaizinski and Piero Cifali, the 10th row. Behind them, Nasser Abultaif and Junior Dinardi. There will be 22 cars, 11 for the main Sprint Challenge category. 5 are the sport class and 6 belong to the rookie class. First driver in the sport class is Miguel Mariotti, starting in 4th, and first driver in the rookie class is Gustavo Zanon, starting in 11th. So they will have the pole position for their respective classes.
Yeah, and we saw there Junior Dinardi in the end of the back, in the end of the grid. He was the one who spun in the qualifying session and had an issue there, so he starts from the last spot. And let's see if Nelson Marcondes is able to attack actually Raijan Mascarello. We saw that Enzo Elias went on the charge on Werner Neugbauer in the start of the race that we had on the Carrera Cup Championship, and now we can see another attack from the second in the starting grid. So it will be a very interesting start, I believe, and let's see if Raijan is able to stay ahead.
Pace car is already out of the track. Raijan Mascarello is this greenish car that will be on your left when we have the camera now. Alongside him is Nelson Marcondes. It's green, green, green. The start of the Sprint Challenge race in Termas de Rio Hondo. Raijan Mascarello a little bit ahead. Then Nelson Marcondes is in second. So far it's Vina Neves. That's touching his ground, Vina Neves, but he's able to stay on track. A much cleaner start for the Sprint Challenge race, and Raijan Mascarello keeps the first position. Great start by him. Marcondes is being challenged by Marcelo Tomassoni for the second position battle there, and let's see who prevails. Apparently it's Nelson Marcondes, Marcelo Tomassoni. That was a clean start, Carlos, but now we see many battles behind. Look at that.
Yeah, very interesting start. In the first corner there, we saw some guys going a little bit wide, but they were able to avoid any contact, which is good. Now one more driver going a little bit wide, but it's better to go wide than to crash into another competitor. So I think they learned from what we saw in the previous race, and good start from Raijan Mascarello. He was able to stay ahead of Nelson Marcondes, and Nelson actually is being attacked. So far an interesting race in the Sprint Challenge Championship as well.
Yeah, number 21, Miguel Mariotti, lost lots of positions. You see him there, number 21. He started 4th, but he is way behind now. So it was not a good start for him. Raijan Mascarello keeps the lead. Great work by him. Then we have Nelson Marcondes is second. And now we have there, it's Urubatan Júnior. Problems for Urubatan Júnior. He's very slow. Look at that. What a mess in the track. I wonder if we'll need a safety car, Carlos, but it's lots of debris there in the middle of the track.
Yeah, body work there and a lot of debris, as you said. Let's see in which point of the track that mess is, but theoretically, if it is in the middle of the track, we need to have the safety car deployed in order for the track to be cleaned. But so far, no safety cars.
Yeah, and I wonder how, Carlos, but Eamon Darwich, you see him there, he's in third and he started in 14th. It's incredible what he did. I really want to see exactly what happened while we see Marco Billy there also having problems. So Eamon Darwich, really good work. Marcelo Tomassoni is second. And another driver who had problems was Nelson Marcondes. He really went behind.
Yeah, exactly. He lost a lot of ground there. So actually, Nelson Marcondes, because he started second, and also Urubatán Jr., and that's a championship blow for him because he's close actually to Eamon Darwich and Raija Mascarello with 69 points. So eventful race so far for Urubatán, and an eventful weekend as a whole week actually, because we're Thursday. He didn't qualify that well, and now with a tricky situation in the race, safety car deployed.
Yeah, we saw there Sadak Leite with a problem here. This is Ricardo Fontanari, also had the problems. So I thought it was calmer this start, but actually many drivers having problems as well. Urubatán Jr., Marco Billy, Sadak Leite, and André Gaizinski. They're pretty much all these four drivers are out of the race.
A lot of people involved actually. We had a clean start, but throughout the first laps of this race one of the Sprint Challenge Championship at Termas de Rio Hondo, then the situations evolved into some retirements. But let's see if Mascarello is able to stay ahead. He will surely be attacked, especially in the restart by Marcelo Tomassoni. Mascarello has one win to his name actually this season, but his main quality for being ahead of the pack and only 1 point behind championship leader Eamon Darwich is consistency. Darwich, for example, has no wins, as we have been talking about, but he's one guy that is always able to climb the pack, even though he has an extra challenge this week actually, but already in a very good position considering the spot in which he qualified. So the expectation is good for the rest of the race.
Now we see the mechanics working on the Marco Billy's car. So Marco Billy, let's see if he's going to be able to go back to the track. No, so far he is there still. Let's wait. Now he's going back. Let's hope that he has conditions to race once more. Another driver who had a great start is Maso Mauro. Maso Mauro is fourth when he started the race in 10th. So he got 6 positions so far. There you see Ricardo Fontanari. Oh, look, Ricardo Fontanari got the debris because he had a problem as well. But at this point, he's okay. He got a debris. There is the red car, number 17. Then ahead, we had the Daniel Correia. See, at this point, Fontanari is very much okay. He lost lots of position. He started 5th. But he's looking good.
Yeah, let's see, because he got something there with the debris, and maybe it has an impact on the structure of his car as a whole. So we have to wait and see. And the cleaning process has to be very well done, because any part of body work and that kind of stuff that stays on track is a safety issue for the race that we have this Thursday on Argentina. But so far, so good for especially Eamon Darwich with the third spot there, considering that he qualified in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, I'm really impressed. He got 11 positions. He really took advantage of all the confusion ahead of him. He was able to overtake lots of drivers. Of course, some drivers ahead of him had the problems, but he got position. He was able really to stay safe on the track. And we have again a safety car. The safety car is here. And let's wait to see how the start is going to be. Lots of debris is still on the track.
Yeah, if they collect debris by debris or bodywork by bodywork by hand, it will take a little bit of a time there, but I believe they're close to the conclusion of the cleaning process.
Jean Mascarello leads the race, Marcelo Tomassoni second, then we have Eamon Darwich, Maso Mauro, and Daniel Correa. These are the top 5 drivers. Miguel Mariotti, who started 4th, is in the 7th position. He lost 3 positions, but was able to stay there in the top 10. And then we have Nelson Marcondes, who started in 2nd, is currently in 8th. So he had a problem as well in one of those battles. I believe it was when he was battling Marcelo Tomassoni, and he ended up losing ground. And then we have Josimar Jr. in the 9th position. Josimar Jr., who is like as Miguel Mariotti, is from the rookie class, the sports class, pardon me. Josimar Jr. started the race in 12th position and is in 9th. So it's a great effort by him.
I think we will have the restart soon, Sergio.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Lights are out on the safety car. Look at the way this car is from Ricardo Fontanari. He's a warrior. He's going back to the track. He wants action. We'll have the restart of the race. Jean Mascarello leads the track. Behind him, Tomassoni. And then Eamon Darwich. It's pedal to the floor. Jean Mascarello. Look at the battle there. Wow! It's number 69 of Daniel Correa trying to get the position from Maso Mauro. Very aggressive Daniel Correa at the restart. There they go again, side by side. Daniel Correa gets the position from Maso Mauro. Great overtake by Daniel Correa. He got a better line and is getting ahead of Mauro. Oh, look at that! Going outside. Who was that? Josimar, maybe? Or that
he jumped quite 21. A bit there.
I think that was number 21 of Miguel Mariotti. Let's double check. Let's see again what happened there. Look,
whoa.
He just went wide. I believe it's Miguel Mariotti. I'm quite sure. Let's double check. Let's see in position.
Yeah,
what position he is. That's him, right? Yeah, that's him. Now we have Marcelo Tomassoni, number 5. He is in the 2nd place. Eamon Darwich is in 3rd. And Daniel Correa is right behind Eamon Darwich. Daniel Correa in a great moment. He's trying to get Maso Mauro, who lost another position. Christian Moore is ahead of him. So Maso Mauro, it was not a good restart for the driver of car number 11. You see him, it's easy to spot, is the white and green car that we see there. It's the one before the last in this line. Then we have number 77 is Josimar Jr. Vina Neves number 20, trying to get back some positions. He started in 7th, lost many positions at the very beginning of the race, but now he's recuperating and he's right behind Gustavo Zanon. And he might get the position from Zanon as well. Coming really, really fast, Vina Neves. Daniel Correa goes wide, tries on the outside. Not this time, he's trying to do the cross. Daniel Correa over Eamon Darwich, side by side. Battle for third position. Turns to the left, favors Eamon Darwich. Now it will favor Daniel Correa at the beginning of the main straight, of the back straight, which is the longest straight. And Daniel Correa to the right is going to be able to, he gets the position. What an effort by Daniel Correa. Right behind them, it comes Christian Moore. Christian Moore now is going to attack Eamon Darwich. Oh, the touch, Daniel Correa gets touched by Eamon Darwich. Both go outside. What a mess, Carlos. What a mess. That was such a good battle.
Yeah, it was such a good battle, and we saw that the overtake was partly due to the racing lines there, especially in the moment in which they got to the hairpin right after the back straight actually, but right after, then Eamon Darwich touched Daniel there, and I think it was Eamon Darwich's fault, even though it's quite a tight corner there. I believe he didn't want to crash into Daniel Correa, but that's not good for both of them, and especially Eamon, because he's thinking about the championship, of course, and was running P4, and now loses a lot of ground. Daniel Correa, of course, had managed to overtake and has, of course, now, as we can see, puncture there in the front left, so his race is compromised as a whole. But what a shame, what a pity for both of them.
Yeah, maybe he was a little bit over-optimistic there. And I agree with you, as the championship leader, he was in a good position. He had to, that's Daniel Correa, end of the race for him as well. So he had to keep calm there, even if he lost a position.
Yeah.
He had to think, Carlos, that he started way behind. He started in 14th. So even losing third position to fourth, hey, he stayed there. It was a great work by him, and now he's way behind, and that's pretty much the end of any hope of a good position, and he'll start from behind in the second race tomorrow. So it's not good for him.
Yeah, it compromises the whole round, and as you said, he already had to celebrate because starting from P14, and let's say actually, if he finished fourth, it was gold for him already, especially considering that Rajah Mascarello qualified P1 and was running ahead of the pack, so he was actually getting closer to his title rival in terms of what he could have done, considering both qualifying and race today. But then with the crash, his whole round is compromised, as you said, starting from the end of the pack tomorrow, the second race that we have in the Sprint Challenge Championship.
This is the battle for third position. Christian Moore is third, Maso Mauro is fourth, Nelson Marcondes is fifth. Marcondes, who started second, fell way behind up to ninth position, and now he's trying to get back to recuperate. He's taking advantage of the problems ahead of him, but he's doing a nice work. And then we see this battle. Look at that, was Vina Neves already of that pack, overtaking Josimar Jr. They're on board with Guilherme Botura, who is in ninth place. No, too bad for Josimar Jr. He was in 7th position. He has a puncture, end of the race for him. And very eventful this race, Carlos, while we see still third place Christian Moore ahead of Maso Mauro and Nelson Marcondes.
Yeah, so far we had a few moments of clean racing, let's put it that way, now with the puncture of Josimar Jr. And we saw the warning there, the incident between Eamon Darwich and Daniel Correa will be investigated after the race. So let's see if there is any penalty for the championship leader that could compromise even more his round in Argentina. So let's see if until the end of the race, until the checkered flag, we have some clean racing and overtaking without incident, Sergio.
Yeah, Christian Moore is able to open a little bit of a gap between him and Maso Mauro, but Maso Mauro has all the pressure from Nelson Marcondes. Battle for fourth position. You see some a battle a little bit behind now. Lots of battle going on. This is, let me double check here. Yeah, this is Guilherme Botura. That's number 21 of Miguel Mariotti. No, it's Miguel Mariotti, Piero Cifali, all this Mariotti who lost lots of position. He's just ahead of Marco Billy. And after Marco Billy is Piero Cifali. Marco Billy actually, Carlos, was the one who went to change his tires. So he is behind. And look at the problems for number 21, Miguel Mariotti. He had such a great effort in qualifying, but now he just runs way behind in 12th position. Too bad for him.
Yeah, definitely. That's a pity for him. And he had that jump, let's put it that way, when he went wide and run over the grass and gravel there. So I believe his car is a little bit compromised in terms of performance, and that's why he's staying on the way, let's put it that way.
Yeah, and the car right behind him, this car number 83, is one lap behind. So he's not part of the real battle there. While you see the leader, that's Raijan Mascarello. He's almost 2 seconds ahead of Marcelo Tomassoni, and he's going for one more victory this season. Great work by Raijan Mascarello. Raijan Mascarello, who started race second in the championship, he won the first race in Mogi Guaçu. That's his only win so far this season.
And on his way to the second, but he has to be, of course, has to remain actually concentrated there because he isn't that ahead. The gap, of course, is quite comfortable. He is almost 2 seconds ahead of Marcelo Tomassoni, but any mistake will be very costly.
And we see there Ricardo Fontanari. Problems for Ricardo Fontanari. He had a problem already in the beginning of the race, and now it looks he has no conditions to stay on the track. And I mean, Mogi Guaçu, it's the Velocitar, which is a very nice racetrack we have in the interior of the state of São Paulo in Brazil. It's a private racetrack, really, really nice, in a very nice environment, right, Carlos? It's located in a farm in the interior of São Paulo. It's a really interesting racetrack.
Yeah, definitely. One of the most beautiful landscapes that we have in motorsport here in Brazil, no doubt about it. And we have to highlight the work that is done there by the track promoters and so on. But one of the most important tracks in Brazil in recent years, no doubt about it.
We are getting close to the end of the 7th race of the season for Sprint Challenge, Porsche Sprint Challenge in Brazil. It's a race that looks it will be won by Raijan Mascarello. He's having a perfect race so far, but we never know. Until the race is over, we can't say anything about it. We have there the battle between Nasser Boutaif and number 99 is actually Nasser Boutaif. And actually, it's not a battle again. It's a battle on the racetrack, but it's not a battle for position because number 83 is one lap behind of Marco Billy. So, but he's holding the position. I mean, the track position.
Yeah, they're having fun there, actually, racing a little bit, elbowing each other in a good sense, let's put it that way. Of course, the race hasn't been that good for them in terms of result itself, but racing at Termas Rio Hondo, a circuit that most of these drivers don't know, and it is so famous here in South America, so it's a single opportunity that they have.
Nasser Abu Taif loses ground there. You see the Porsche number 99, Nasser Abu Taif. That's Nasser Abu Taif is currently 11th. Miguel Mariotti is ahead of him. Now we have the leader, Raijan Mascarello. Raijan Mascarello getting close to the end of the race. Right now he's over 2.5 seconds ahead of Marcelo Tomassoni. He's actually widening the gap between him and second place. And third place, Christian Moore is way behind. Christian Moore is like 8.2 seconds behind the leader, Raijan Mascarello. Of course, we had that battle between Eamon Darwich and Daniel Correa, who looked really strong, but they end up touching, and as we said before, the incident will be investigated after the race. They are both out right now.
Yeah, so far so good for Raijan Mascarello. Tomassoni in a very good race as well. In one moment he was quite close actually to the race leader, but he wasn't able to attack and overtake. And we have also to highlight the race from Christian Moore, because he started 800 grade and is currently P3, so he gained a lot of spots there also because of the incidents, but he was able to stay very far from the incidents actually, and with a clean race he's reaching the top 3 there ahead of Nelson Marcondes, that had not a good beginning of race, but now recovering to the 4th spot, and also Marcel Mauro completing the top 5 there.
Raijan Mascarello, 1 minute, less than 1 minute now to the end of the race. Then we'll have one more lap. Let's see if it happens like in the Carrera Cup, if we'll have 2 more laps when he crosses the line. Looks like we'll have 2 more laps after he crosses the line right now, Carlos, but let's wait and see. Raijan Mascarello, Marcelo Tomassoni, Christian Moore, Nelson Marcondes, and Maso Mauro are the top 5. This Friday we'll have one more racing for both Carrera Cup and Sprint Challenge. And there he is, difference 3 seconds for the second place. Perfect race for him. Carlos, pardon me, Carlos, and it will be great. It will be, for him, you assume the leadership of the championship really easy, you know, because he's 1 point behind Eamon Darwich, and Eamon Darwich is not going to finish the race, and he's going to get 22 more points. So it will be a very good situation for Raijan Mascarello after this race as we go to the last lap.
Yeah, definitely. He will be 21 points ahead of Eamon Darwich, because Eamon Darwich isn't bagging any point, and of course 22 points for the main race win for Raijan Mascarello. Of course, he got pole position because of his merit, so he has 2 points more than what is awarded for the guy that wins the second race of the week or the weekend. So a very clean race there for Raijan Mascarello. He's controlling his advantage there actually, so we can see that Marcel Tomassoni is getting close, but of course Raijan Mascarello is managing all of it and is cruising to win one more time this season, the second win from Raijan Mascarello in 2022.
So it will be the first driver this year in Sprint Challenge, Porsche Sprint Challenge, to win for a second time. Perfect race for Raijan Mascarello, who is going to get one more W in his career in the Porsche Cup Brazil. There he goes in the final turns. He'll get soon the checkered flag. Here comes Raijan Mascarello. A perfect race for him. Started from pole He was able to keep the first position in the first turn to the right, in that dangerous turn to the right, meaning in the beginning of the race. That's a turn right there, and then will be a left turn, and he will get the checkered flag. There he comes. Rajan Mascarello wins at Termas da Rio Hondo. Marcelo Tomassoni is second place. Only now comes Christian Moore for third place. And then we'll have Nelson Marcondes was able to overtake Maso Mauro in fourth, Maso Mauro in fifth, and then Vina Neves in the sixth position. Vina Neves, who started seventh, lost many positions, was able to recuperate. Great work for him. And then Gustavo Zanoni in seventh. He is the first driver from the rookie class, and Guilherme Botura will be in eighth, the first driver for the sport class. It was a great race overall. Carlos, we really had a few problems with the drivers. Of course, it was dominated by Rajan Mascarello, but we had good battles for the other positions.
Yeah, an eventful race as a whole. Some crashes, as we saw between Ayman Darvic and Daniel Correa. A lot of overtaking also between the two of them, but also with other drivers. A clean race and a very solid one from Rajan Mascarello. But we have to highlight other guys. Talked about Christian Moore. Also, I would say that Gustavo Zanon is one of the highlights of this first out of two races of the Sprint Challenge Championship at Termas de Rio Hondo, because he's from the rookie class, so finishing ahead of the competitors of a higher class, let's put it that way, that is Sport, with Guilherme Botura winning, Miguel Mariotti, who had a very good qualifying session and started the race very well, but went wide and then got a little of debris to his car, so the performance wasn't that good in the end of the race. So very interesting to see throughout the whole pack. And the fact that we have different classes running together is always attractive as well, because we see that the whole pack actually amalgamated, even though the whole top six is from the main Sprint Challenge class. So very nice to see, and let's see if tomorrow's races will be as eventful as we had today.
One thing is for sure, Carlos, Team Porsche will have to work a lot overnight to recuperate these cars, you know. I don't think they thought there would be so many incidents and accidents involving these drivers, but I'm sure they'll put a great effort. They also bring some reserve cars for the race. It's Porsche is a one team, you know, even though we have many drivers, it's considered a one team because all the drivers are pretty much made the same. They're made the same. They have different differences with each car engineer and mechanic, little differences, but they are the same. They are prepared all in the same place with the same characteristics. So they bring reserve cars, and I'm sure tomorrow everybody will be able to race again. Rajan Mascarello, great win for him, and now he is way ahead in the championship. That might have been the race for him, Carlos, in pursuit of being the champion in 2022.
Yeah, of course, that's his objective, and he was very calm in a good way in order to get closer to that, because he was attacked in a moment by Marcelo Tomassoni, but was able to be very calm in order to defend his lead. And he didn't make any mistake, as we saw with Werner Neubauer in the previous race. The race leader was always there with consistency, with pace, bagging fastest lap times as well. So we have to highlight Rajan Mascarello's performance today, and let's see if he's able to get a good result also tomorrow, because if that's the case, then Ayman Darvic has to be worried.
Here we have the images from Termas del Rio Hondo. This was the first day of racing in Argentina. On Friday, we'll have one more race for each Carrera Cup and Sprint Challenge, and then on Sunday we'll have the endurance race. So stay tuned with us here. I will be again with Carlos tomorrow in the two races there. The first the Carrera Cup, and then the sprint challenge races. Races again will start at 1:20 p.m. local time or Brazilian times, the same time as in Argentina. It will be 4:20 p.m. GMT or 12 noon 20 p.m. in U.S. Eastern time. Raijan Mascarello can't control his happiness. He has the right to do so. Really great day for him.
And that's his birthday, actually, Sergio. So, wow. What a gift.
What a gift. We see the three winners. Gustavo Zanon was 7th overall on the first in sport, and then Guilherme Botura. Actually, Zanon is from the rookie class. It was written there sport, but he's from the rookie class. We have Raijan Mascarello, Marcelo Tomassoni, Christian Moore, Nelson Marcondes, Maso Mauro, Vina Neves, then Gustavo Zanon, Guilherme Botura, Miguel Mariotti, and Sang Ho-Kim, the South Korean, got a 10th place. Great effort by him. Ramon Alcaraz, Nasser Abul Taif, Junior Dinardi, who started dead last, finished 13th. Piero Cifali, Marco Billy, Ricardo Fontanari, Josimar Júnior, Daniel Correia, Eyman Darwich, and Urubatan Jr. Only 14 drivers finished in the same lap. Marco Billy got 3 laps behind. He had a problem, he had to change his tire. And these are the final results for the Sprint Challenge race in Argentina, the first of 2 that will happen in Argentina.
And who is that? Lonely on the podium. What a scene.
I was going to check the top of the podium. So he went there to see how it looks, Carlos.
Yes, certainly a good landscape there. And of course, the overview of the pit lane of Termas de Rio Hondo circuit. As I think that now we go to the official podium, as we see the Michelin guy there also celebrating with the drivers.
This is Christian Moore. Right now he is alone there. Now comes Maso Mauro. He's 5th, yeah. Go to the right of, to the left of Christian Moore, to the right of our video. Then we have in 4th place, it's Nelson Marcondes. And now going to the 2nd spot, Tomassoni. Marcel Tomassoni, who is 2nd, and of course, on top of the chart there is Raijan Mascarello. Great win by him. Nice trophies there they are receiving in Argentina. And a big round of applause to these drivers who finished the race. Great result, great competition happening in Circuito Termas de Rio Hondo. Top 5 drivers, all of them for the Sprint Challenge, the traditional photograph. Hey, the Michelin mascot should go there. Take the photograph with them, Carlos.
Yeah, a nice trophy. Was looking here, interesting trophy as well. And I was checking, Sergio. Raijan Mascarello is celebrating his 50th today. So what a celebration. A lot to celebrate indeed, because he got pole position and won from the start of the race until the checkered flag, leading throughout the whole race this Thursday at Termas de Rio Hondo. So very good start of round for him, and let's see if he's able to capitalize tomorrow as well, because Eyman Darwich theoretically will start from the back of the grid.
You see there Urubatan Jr. Urubatan Jr. who didn't finish the race with his Porsche #1. That was Mariotti going wide. He had a great effort. He's a nice driver, Carlos. I'm sure we'll be hearing from him more and more. He started 4th after qualifying. He was a little bit overly aggressive there. but I'm sure he's going to do a nice work from now on.
Yeah, definitely. In motorsport, it's pretty much that. You have to be balanced, let's put it that way. Aggressive, but not that much in order to crash or that kind of stuff. And of course, it's better to learn how to be a little bit calmer than to learn to be fast. So he's fast already, and that's pretty much it. You have to focus and think about the championship, think about, of course, safety issues as well. But the racing has been very good, as you see another podium there.
That's the sports class podium, only 4 drivers. It's Guilherme Bottura, Mariotti, Ramon Alcaraz, and Josimar Jr. Josimar Jr. actually didn't finish the race. He had a problem close to the end, but or is this? This is actually the rookie class. I believe it's the rookie class. Oh no, it's because it combines both the rookie class and the sport class.
Yeah, that's it.
That's why we see Sang Joaquin there. So actually, Josimar Jr. was not there. That's Sang Joaquin, which got 4th place. That's Zanon, Bottura, Mariotti, Sang Joaquin, and Ramon Alcaraz.
And what a race by Gustavo Zanon, ahead of his rivals of the sport class.
Yeah, because Gustavo Zanon finishing the top rookie class, he also won the sport class. And that's the frustration for Eamon Darwich after that accident, that touch he had with Daniel Correia. And now finally we have that's Zanon again on the top of the charts with Sang Joaquin in second. Now Sang Joaquin is second because now that's really the rookie class. And then we have Nelson Abultaif, Junior Dinardi, and Piero Cifali in 5th. So that's the final podium for the rookie class. So again, don't forget, tomorrow at 1:20 p.m. local time, Brazilian time, 4:20 p.m. GMT, or 12 noon 20 p.m. US Eastern time. And on Sunday, we'll have qualifying for an endurance race at 9 a.m. local time, 12 noon GMT, 8 a.m. US Eastern time, and the race at 12:55 local time, Brazilian time, at 3:55 p.m. GMT and 11:55 a.m. US Eastern time. So, Carlos, your last words, and we'll say goodbye.
Yeah, very good racing day so far. Of course, we have tomorrow 2 more races from the Carrera Cup Championship and Sprint Challenge Championship. For tomorrow, for today, actually, that's it. But with 2 qualifying sessions and 2 races, I think we had a very interesting, actually, action-packed day at Termas de Rio Hondo, one of the most traditional circuits in South America. Even though it's quite new, it has been built in 2008, but already with tradition in MotoGP, host venue actually of the Argentine MotoGP round. So the expectation for tomorrow is quite good as well, and especially considering the championship settings for both of the championships.
That's it. Thank you all for watching us. See you tomorrow.